Hi guys, George here from Zero Period Productions. Now, you guys probably know me best for covering quest mods for Skyrim, namely playing through them and sometimes making funny remarks. And while I mainly play quest mods, I still look at the other types of mods on the Nexus, mainly to see what other people are working on. It's probably safe to say that one of the most common types of mods out there are house mods, and that's not a bad thing. Skyrim's vanilla houses serve their purpose. They're a safe area for the Dragonborn. You can store gear, craft new gear, and use a bed without having to pay for a room at an inn. That being said, Skyrim's vanilla houses leave a bit to be desired. None of the homes are incredibly unique or stand out, and some players really want homes that feel more alive and inspired. That's why today I'm showing off 4 player house mods that are lore friendly, fit in well with the game, and most importantly, feel really unique. First off, we're taking a look at Old Attius Farm, an Imperial Colonial Morrowind house. Fans of Morrowind will instantly be familiar with the design and architecture as it is based off the Imperial houses and structures from the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. As someone who really loved the unique and rustic structures from across Morrowind, this is something that I was happy to see. Once installed, you can find this house in Solstheim. There is no quest or other requirements to access the home. It's yours from the get-go. Solstheim was originally settled by the Empire at the tail end of the Third Era, with Raven Rock originally being made up of houses and buildings of the same design. The Imperial influence in Solstheim is next to non-existent since the events of Red Year, making this house something of a relic from a long-forgotten time. Unlike a lot of other house mods, Old Attius Farm does not aim to add a bunch of bells and whistles. Feature-wise, it's probably on par with your typical vanilla home in the game. You'll have access to crafting stations, fully furnished bedrooms, a kitchen, and a dining room. You'll also find a basic follower in case you get lonely or need an adventuring partner. And he even gets his own little bedroom. To me, you don't need to have a ton of features for a player home to be good. Personally, I don't need or want auto-sorting chests or books that let me freely level my skills. Just give me a unique and well-designed home with enough of the base game's amenities. But hey, that's my personal preference, and maybe I'm weird that way. Next up we have Snow Globe House, a house within, well, you probably guessed it, a snow globe. Now this is a more magical house mod, something that we really don't have in base Skyrim, but does exist in the Elder Scrolls universe as a whole. The mod immediately reminds me of the limited time Snow Globe House from the Elder Scrolls Online, which was available during the holiday season last year. To enter your new, enchanted home, you'll need to equip the rings that are added to your inventory upon launching the game. The house itself is incredibly cozy and welcoming, and I really love the feel of it. Skyrim is already filled with snow, but there's something about the Snow Globe home that feels so much more inviting. I also just love snow in games, so I guess it would make sense that I love this home. This is the kind of place where I just want to curl up with a cup of hot cocoa or hot apple cider. It's the perfect kind of winter getaway. But hey, maybe you don't want a nice, quiet cabin nestled in the snow. Well, you're in luck, because this mod comes with not 1, but 2 snow globe homes. The second house is an alchemist's hideaway, complete with a usable patch of land for planting different alchemical ingredients. This house is much greener than the first and has a really nice spring feel to it. The interior of the house itself is really beautiful, and I love the rounded design of the home. Not to mention, you have little skylights in the ceiling, letting you look up into the snow globe's glass enclosure. Both homes come with a little postcard-sized painting, which will quickly teleport you back to the real world just outside of Whiterun. You'll also find a snow globe in your inventory, and if you look inside of it, you can see the first home. It makes for a nice furnishing. I wound up putting it in the alchemist home, something of a snow globe house Inception sort of deal. The third house mod we're looking at today is Avius, another Morrowind-inspired home, but this time, it's one of Telvanni design. Now, we've seen Telvanni structures in the Dragonborn DLC, but this house draws upon the more classic design of Telvanni structures from the Elder Scrolls III. This is a pretty big player home, and keeping in line with classic Telvanni homes and structures has a lot of verticality. Now, I keep on saying structures, but is it really a structure if it's a giant enchanted mushroom? No one built it, it just kinda grew. The house comes with your standard array of crafting tables, but also adds a spider imbuing table, a greenhouse, a soul gem altar where you can create and upgrade soul gems, new conjuration spells that can be bought from a wizard trader, and a recall spell that will teleport you back to the house. Avius can be found outside of Whiterun, which is admittedly a strange place for the home, given that it would fit in better on Solstheim, and the player home makes use of DLC content, so it wasn't an issue of DLC requirements. Still, it's not a deal breaker. Maybe some Telvanni mage decided, hey, Skyrim's pretty cool, and I'm tired of all this ash anyway. Now, the mod has a couple issues. The first being that the textures for the ground and the mushrooms really flickered a lot on my screen. The second issue being that this just crashes my game a lot, and I feel like that's something I don't usually say about house mods. Checking the mod page on the Nexus, it turns out that the wizard trader tends to crash everyone's game, which once again seems really weird. Currently, it seems like there isn't an update or patch that fixes this for everyone, so if you do download this mod, make sure to disable the merchant before you get too close to him. Anytime I took a step towards him, it crashed my game immediately. Last, but certainly not least, we have Esterah, Jewel of the Redguard, and yes, I'm probably saying that name wrong. Now at first glance, it's not the kind of house you would see in Skyrim the province, and that's true, as it's a house modeled after Redguard designs that you might find in Hammerfell. One of the reasons this caught my eye was because of how well it draws upon Redguard designs and housing as we see it in the Elder Scrolls Online. The house itself is meant to be a bit extravagant, as it had been built for a Sultan of Alakir. Like the other mods we've seen today, there are no requirements or steps to get the house. You can find it by traveling east of Stormcrag Camp. While the exterior textures of the house feel a little rough to me, the interior of the house is where this mod truly shines. It's beautifully decorated and laid out, and truly feels like an elegant, upscale home without going too crazy. Like Avius, Esterah has a spider imbuing table available, which I feel like I never really used or cared to use. Is this a feature that a lot of people use in-game? Is there a big demand for making magical spiders in your own home? If anything, I feel like I'd want to keep that kind of crafting far away from my house. The only issue I ran into with this mod is that it seems to add a floating mountain in the Whiterun Hold. I saw it when I was exploring and recording Avius, and from the reference ID, I was able to pinpoint that it was added by the mod. Now, I'm not really sure how that happens, but hey, free mountain, I guess. Now, when you think about it, this isn't my first time covering house mods. I've covered both Build Your Noble House and Become Lord Commander, both of which were quest-based mods in which you built or rose through the ranks to acquire really elaborate homes. The homes we looked at today are not as elaborate, and there's nothing wrong with that. I liked these homes in particular because they felt much more like something I might actually find in the vanilla game, maybe with the exception of Esterah. Esterah fits into the Elder Scrolls universe, but is something you'd see in Hammerfell itself, not just hanging out in Skyrim. There's a lot of really cool player house mods out there, and there's quite a few more that I would like to take a look at as time goes on. And one last thing before we end today. I just want to say that Skyrim has an incredible modding community. I think it speaks to the game's longevity that even after nearly 8 years, we still see mods coming out nearly every single day, and the quality of some of these mods exceed that of the base game. While I love covering mods for Skyrim, the unfortunate truth of it all is that quest mods are the most time-consuming to make, which is why we don't see as many quest mods as we do other types of mods. We've been in something of a quest mod slump for a while now, and I've been going back and covering older Skyrim quest mods that I just didn't get around to when they first came out, many of which came out years ago at this point. Right now it feels like all of the quest mods in development are really massive projects, ones that we might not even see for another few years. And I'm sure other quest mods will release in the meantime, but a lot of the times we don't know what those mods are. We don't know they even exist until they're released. And while I plan on continuing to cover quest mods for Skyrim Saturday, I'm also open to making more videos like this, showing off house mods, town and city mods, different overhauls, you name it. I can't guarantee that these videos will release on a regular basis. These types of videos are incredibly time consuming compared to Let's Plays, playthroughs, Skyrim Saturday, whatever you want to call it. But when I see something on the Nexus that has me excited, I want to be able to share that with you guys in the form of a video. In the end, that's the whole point of my Skyrim videos, to highlight what the modding community has accomplished and help get their work out there. If you like my content and want to help support me, check out my Patreon. It goes a long way towards helping to make being a full-time content creator a little bit more stable. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.